Hey guys, how's it going? It's Eden, and I know what you're probably thinking seeing the title of this episode. Season finale? What's going on? Is the show done? No, the show's not over. I'm just finishing for this season, and the reason why is I'm an Orthodox Jew. And because I'm an Orthodox Jew, there are a lot of holidays this season where during those holidays I'm not allowed to touch any electronics at all, no nothing. I gotta zone in with my family during that time. And pretty much every holiday this coming month is going to be on a Sunday when I normally shoot my episodes. Because of that, I'm not going to be able to shoot for pretty much the following month. But what's going to happen is after that month is done, I will be back. There will be a season two. I promise you, it's going to be renewed. Uh, During that time, while I'm not producing episodes, I'm still going to be very active on all the socials. So make sure to check that link down below. I'm planning on doing a lot of giveaways between the seasons. I'm gonna make sure to do so. And speaking of giveaways, the Labor Day giveaway that I did last week, I announced the winners in this episode. So make sure if you're in that to check that out and see what happens. And yeah, it's been a good run for season one. I'm really looking forward to season two, and I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the episode. Welcome back, everybody, to the You Ask We podcast, the show where you ask the questions, they answer them, and I'm just the guy in the middle. On this episode, we have an amazing guy hailing from Plano, Texas. He was a huge piece in the YU Max from 2019 to 2022, especially during their big 50-game win streak. And he went on from there to win gold in the Maccabi Games in 2022. And now he plays for Bnei Kafir Qasim in Israel. I want everyone to give a warm welcome to my boy, Ofek Reef. How you doing, my man?
Doing good, doing good. How are you doing?
Thank God, can't complain. So yeah, you know how it works pretty much the way the
Love
show
it.
is. Everyone submitted questions through the social media, and I'm about to ask those questions to you right now. But the first question always comes from me, and that's what's new, bro? What's going on?
Not much, honestly. For the people who haven't been, following, um, I played last year, played for Hapoel Eko. It was my first professional season in Israel, and we got pretty far. We weren't a team that was on paper supposed to, even make second round of the playoffs, this and that. But we ended up losing game three in the semis, which upsetting. But you know, that season was over with. Just getting into the new season with you said it, Nick Falcasim, and it's a exciting time right now. Second league. So,
Yeah, man, we're all looking forward to watching you hoop more, bro. And you were also like hooping, and how much you average in Akko?
oh man, regular season, I want to say like about 14, 15, and then playoffs, which was 6 games, 22.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a bucket. My boy's a bucket right here. Wow. 22 game in the playoffs.
Only when it matters.
Only
Only
when
when
it
it matters.
matters. He's playoff Jimmy. He's playoff
Yeah,
Jimmy.
exactly.
Yeah. So now we're gonna get into the actual questions that people submitted. And this first
All right.
question is
Let's
from SJ and T-Neck. He says, the people want to know, is the hair real? Like is hair natural?
man. I don't know how to answer that one, SJ. I don't like I could tell you it's a perm, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, what's
I
the hair?
mean, I it's
What's the,
natural. It's natural. I gotta shout out mom for the curly hair. Got it from her. So thank you, Ema. Appreciate it.
but like what's the routine though? How do you keep it like so like, as the Zohan says, silky smooth,
Uh,
you know?
yeah, it's that's tough, honestly. It's depends on the day. If I don't put shampoo in it, it's regular. I always put something in my hair every day, just to have the curls, shining, popping, the highlights bright and everything. But I mean, it's really not that much of a routine. It's just a mess when you actually have to put stuff in it. When
Right.
even when I play, it's the worst. I play with the headband, I still can't see.
Word. But so it's like it could just be like a hectic process, I'm betting, to deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
especially when it's humid out because then everything like expands. And then I really got the fro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful. I got the two on the sides and like a little on the top with scissors, so I'll never have that problem. Like,
I'm nah, I'm not rocking twos, threes. I'm not no, I'm keeping this until that day
just
comes,
letting
God
it
forbid.
go. That's what's up. Yeah.
And-
So now we're actually gonna get into basketball questions. Because SJ, I gotta be real with you. Shout out to you, my boy, but I don't know what that was. Um, so this question's from Shael from Great Neck. She wants to know what inspires you to play basketball.
Tough question. I mean, um, growing up, I tried to play every sport, and basketball was one of the first sports I actually got into. And I feel like I always had, you know, an ability to be a great basketball player. And I'm still working on it. It's just work at this point and trying to get to where I want. But um, man, inspiration, if we're talking from players, I got to say Dirk. That was the man. That was the man in Dallas. Um, so growing up around Dallas and obviously watching them win that championship against the big three with LeBron, Dwayne, and Bosh. That was big time. JJ, that's where I wore number 11. Love JJ Barea growing up.
JJ
Big
Barea?
undersized guard.
That's nuts.
Yeah, man. Hey, undersized guard, but he got the job done. He got the job done.
Fair enough.
But I mean, it's really, my parents, they pushed me, they came to every one of my games, they put in countless hours with me, spent money on trainers, send me here, send me there. And they just really went through the process with me. So, that's a big part of the inspiration as well.
Word bet. And kind of going from that, right? Because at least people who've watched you play basketball know you come into the game with like a sort of confidence, like a swagger, Like you come in like,
Right.
with your head above everyone else, which is like a good attitude to have playing ball. You need to have that. So Chris from Orlando wants to know, how'd you gain confidence when it comes to playing ball?
Um, I mean, I went through phases playing basketball. It's just basketball is like you have like your midlife crisis, your existential crisis. You go through
In
different
ball?
phases of basketball, and I think in ball, you go through everything. You go from, playing a certain type of way to now you're playing this for a little bit. And, growing up, I was a shooter. I was scared. I was scared of the paint. I was scared. I would not go near the paint. I was not athletic. I would not touch it. I would be shooting, like Sim. I'd stand outside the 3-point line. I'd jack up 15 threes a game.
Shout out to Halpert.
Um,
Shout out to him.
but I think yeah, but I think it's more of like when I started understanding that I need to expand my game. I threw myself in men's leagues, and I told myself I'm not shooting. I'm only going to the rim. I'm gonna get fouled. Like I'm a 14-year-old playing with 40-year-old men that don't have anything better to do. Um, Outside of playing in a men's league basketball and trying to hurt you. Like that's their only intention is to hurt you. So I started doing that, and I gotta shout out Coach Thompson. He was a big part in me having the confidence to go inside, do whatever I need to do to get the ball in the basket because he was just he was, I wouldn't say calm because you can't call Coach Thompson calm, but he was rocking with me and he was kind of just letting me do what I needed to do. And I've got stories where he kicked me off the team for a period and he didn't even want me on the team. And this is AAU ball because I was weak. That's what he told me. And we still talk about it today. He'll call me, be like, dude, you were weak. You remember? I was like, yeah. but now look at where I'm at. So I think it's just a culmination of different things that put it together for me to, come into the game and, I love the game of basketball. Like I don't care. Like the other people on the other team, they put on their shoes, they put on their shorts the same way I put on my stuff. So it's not like I'm going out there because I'm having fun with it. If someone's nervous or this or that, they're not gonna have the same, the confidence isn't gonna be as high as when you go out there knowing
Mhm.
win or lose, I'm still having fun.
Yeah, it's literally at the end of the day, it's all just a game, literally. But honestly, I actually want to ask this, but like speaking of confidence, it's like, have you always been like a trash talker, like playing ball?
No, no, never. I
Really?
really haven't. Never.
Nah,
I don't do it.
because like for the people watching at home, the way me and Ofek met, like was we were playing like pickup basketball in like YU for a little bit, like before like school actually started, and we would just trash talk each other and other people so much. Like me personally, I love trash talk. So it's like
So I'll do it. So I'll do it in like pickup games. But when I get on the court, and I'm playing in the actual game, I really don't talk that much. If someone says something to me, I'll clap back a little bit. But I'm not going out there and
it's like trying to
intentionally
get into people's
talking
heads.
talking to someone. But I'm not talking to anyone. If I hit a bucket and I got something to say, I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna say it to myself. I don't care about you.
But nah, that makes sense. That adds up. Because yeah, now that I think about it, it's like I don't see you trash talking games. I only see you trash talking in pickup, and most of the time that's trash talk to me. So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
because you're so easy to trash talk. It's fun.
yeah,
You
back at
actually
you, bro.
and you
Back
also
at you.
reciprocate it. You also reciprocate it, so it's fun.
Because it's fun when it's reciprocated. When it's like when everyone's too much of a good sport about it, it kind of ruins it a little. Like during pickup,
Yeah.
because it's like, I mean, it's like, yeah, like I just want to be like, oh, on your head and stuff like that. And then like the other kids will just be like, wow, that was a great shot. Like, man, like ruin the whole vibe. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
I was talking like
I'll tell you when I used to play with the YU kids, um Coach Diamonds, I know you're pissed. Don't worry about it. I never got hurt playing pickup with, the kids, but
shout out coach.
um people would tell me good shot. I'd be like, I don't need you to tell me it's a good shot. I know I shot it. It went in. It felt good. Like I knew it was going in before. And like I always want to say it to them, but I don't know how they're gonna respond to it. But that's why I don't talk in games either, is because you just have guys that are hotheads and you can say something, you can say
That,
the most grateful thing on planet Earth and they'll go insane.
that's true, honestly. So honestly, yeah, better to be safe than sorry, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this next question is from Carlos from Mexico. Um, he wants to know what was it like playing for YU, and how does that compare to playing for Israel right now, like in Israel?
So I mean, YU basketball itself, I think was the best brand of basketball that I've played throughout my career. Um, in terms of no ball screens, everything's off the ball. Everyone's getting a slice of the cake. Um, and people can say what they want. Ryan was scoring 30, this, that. Doesn't matter. Like you go look at the stats. If Ryan wasn't scoring 30, we weren't winning games. We weren't winning games. But on top of it, it's if Ryan wasn't having a good night, Aton was having a good night, Simka was having a good night. It was always someone else having a good night if one of our top guys wasn't having a good night. So I think that's what made the system very special. Obviously the fans, you're sitting in a gym, a high school gym, realistically, and you're fitting in, 2,000 people somehow, some way, and they're all cheering for you. And I think the biggest difference between playing college and playing professionally overseas, and this goes anywhere overseas, this isn't just Israel, the game is a lot more physical. A lot. If you haven't seen overseas basketball, all the illegal stuff you can do defensively in the States, so hand checks and stuff like that, you can do it here. Like you can slap someone to next week and you won't, like, the ref will just stand there with and just stare at you. It'd be like, "No, that's clean." Dude, my hand is red. No, 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 you're good. You're good. Are you bleeding? Like it's just
Bro.
such a different brand of basketball, and it's a lot more ball screens. It's a lot, and I think that's the biggest difference is when I came over here, I had to readjust to playing with screens, and if you're not the one or the two or the five, you're not really touching the ball because majority of the action is coming from the one, the two, and the five because those are the guys who are getting involved in the ball screens and those are the guys that are making the decisions. So if you're the three or four, you're sitting in the corner or short corner waiting to catch the ball and shoot because that's your job.
Yeah. And I also feel like that's probably why like all these international players like Luca, for example, he said it's easier to score in the NBA than it is in
Well,
like
the well, I'll tell you why it's easier for international play. One, the game here is not based on athleticism whatsoever at all.
Mhm.
You have athletes, but it's not the same athletes you have in the States. Like these guys in the States were they're jumping 50 inches off the ground. They're running down the court in 2 seconds. European guys in the NBA have such an easier time playing because it's a lot more IQ. There's no 3 seconds defensively overseas. So you have a 7-footer just waiting for you in the paint. He's just sitting there. Rather than, in the NBA, you have the defensive 3 seconds. So now he has to, be aware to step in, step out, step in, step out. And that's what makes these passes, for Luka, Jokic, Giannis, any European player, it makes these passing lanes so much easier for them to read and to react to because they don't have to worry about that 7-footer just sticking in the paint.
Yeah, no, it adds up. And being a pro player now, being a professional in Israel. So Michael from LA wants to know, what does a day in the life look like for you?
So it depends, we're just getting started with our seasons with practices and everything. So we practice 4 days a week. On a day I don't have practice, I like to go out. I just moved down to the Tel Aviv area. So, I have a lot more to do, more variety of things to do out here. I also coach a youth team as well. So that's something I do in the evenings. But I mean it's pretty much the same every day. It's practice, coach, work out. I'll get on the Xbox. I'll play with Rye. You know,
That
because
ride.
because we got we that's how we stay in touch. And I I was with him. What was it? 3 weeks 3 weeks ago, I think. Whenever he was in Israel, and we were talking about it. But I think for me it's just winding down, cooling down after practice is just the easiest way to go about it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So it's pretty much just like practicing slash, coaching the kids and then kind of laying back after that.
Yeah, it also depends, right? If I make plans, I make plans. I'll go out, but
All right.
I don't not not going out of my way to go to a bar, go to a club, go do this, go do that.
Right. No, I hear you. And speaking on that, actually, the whole like going out with friends in Israel and stuff like that. This question's actually from Liran from Israel. Um, what he actually asked was, do you know mad people in Israel? Um, like, do you know mad people in Israel?
Yeah, but I'm going to explain this to your viewers so they understand. Akha Yakashili Liran, my brother, he doesn't know English that well, so he doesn't know that mad is slang for a lot. And I had to explain that to him. So when he submitted the question, he asked if I know mad people in Israel, meaning if I knew someone that was mad in Israel. And yes, I do. His name is Ohad Khen, the angriest person on planet Earth. Every time I'd get in the car, He'd always yell at me. He'd scream at me. A little 19-year-old kid that played with me last year. But that's my, they're both my brothers. I played with them last year. Great guys. But you know, ask that question so we can piss them off a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. The only reason I asked it was because Ofek wanted me to, guys. I promise. But yeah, no, speaking on that, it's like who would you say are the most important people for you in Israel right now?
Uh, definitely my family. I have my sister out in Haifa. But it's a little difficult to work out days. Whether she's coming to Tel Aviv or she's coming to, or if I'm going up. But I have distant family here as well. I have my relatives. So whenever I can jump over to Rishon and go see them, I try to. But also my teammates from last year that I'm still in touch with, and my teammates now that I'm just getting to know. I think that's really about it. I don't think there's much more than that.
Yeah, this question is actually from Mikey from Brooklyn, and I think it's a really interesting one because now that you play for Bnei Kfir Kasim, right? Would you say you feel any pressure as a Jewish player playing for an Israeli Arab city?
I actually like that question. I don't think it's pressure in terms of, being Israeli, being Jewish, and playing for an Arab village in Israel. I think it's, you know, more I think some people are more concerned, you know, politically and worry, that something's gonna happen in Kfar Qasim in the area, this and that. But I've spoken with our management. They're all Arabs, all Muslims, great guys, and they want the best for us, and they want the best for the city as well, right?
Right.
Um, they're putting a lot of money into it for their first time ever being in the second league, and they wanted to stay that way. So um, they brought in a lot. There's a bunch of Israelis on the team. I think there's two local guys from Kfar Qasim that play on the team, but outside of that, I don't feel pressured, playing in a city like that, in a village like that. I don't think anything's gonna happen. And like I tell everyone who asks, is Israel safe? I think it's safer than being in the United States. It's like I tell everyone, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, sucks for you.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it boils down to. It's like just don't be in the wrong place in the wrong time. But it's like Israel overall is a really safe place, and it's like I feel like the media just makes it out to be.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. So moving back into basketball, um, yeah, this question is also from SJ from TNEC. Um, which player in the NBA would you say your game is most similar to? I feel like that's a very fun question.
That's a tough one.
Is it? I feel like I know the answer, but I'm gonna let you answer first.
That's a tough one. I can say like three guys. I feel like I play like three different guys.
Well, who are the three?
Well, I'll tell you when I come off the bench, and if I do come off the bench, I like to go like prime James Harden, Oklahoma, like just that type of energy he brings. Not in terms of like embodiment of a player. Like just straight energy and what he brought to the table off the bench. And if we're going based on if we're going based on like skills, abilities, I don't know. Yeshiva was a little difficult. If I base it off last year, I gotta say like a Derrick Rose who can shoot.
I was gonna say more John Morant, but
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah,
there's similar.
in actual, I mean in actuality, he is a Derrick Rose that can shoot. So I mean that would
Yeah,
um.
I'm gonna
So
say
I mean I could say that.
like a very
Yeah,
good
I feel
shot.
like John Moran is. I feel like John Morant's a good comparison.
It's like John Morant without the shenanigans, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Without waving guns on Instagram Live.
it's a good comp. It's a good comp.
Yeah,
if it's
without
out all like this stuff.
putting all the BS to the side. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how they did him too. Like after like how Adam Silver punished him, nuts. It was
Look, I
like
mean,
no, I mean it was justified.
nah, they had
It
to do
was like it
they
wasn't
had
like
to
the
do
full
some
on.
they had to do something.
Yeah, but it's also like
He's lucky he's lucky it wasn't longer.
I mean maybe I mean I see it in a sense where it's like it was probably the worst punishment he can get. Because if he got suspended for a year, it's like, okay, I'm not hooping. I'm gonna focus on other stuff, whatever.
Yeah, but
Right?
I'll tell you
But
that
like he got
the
suspended for
Players
just enough
Association
games.
also wouldn't allow it to be.
Right. But it's also like he got suspended for just enough games to like not be able to get like the bonuses on his salary and stuff like that. Like things
Right.
like there are things on his contract. Like if he makes an all NBA team, if he wins an MVP, stuff like that, he gets like
Right.
incentive. But like
Well, I mean, that's something you got
that's
to
enough
think
to not
about
even go.
before you go doing stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
He also he has enough money that he doesn't need those bonuses anyways.
That is true. He's good. But it's just it was a wild punishment. I thought it was just like
Yeah, yeah.
Jeff's kid.
I don't know.
Like
I
if I
think
had to rate
25 is I think
punishments,
25 is fair.
yeah, no, it's like if I had to rate punishments, it was like the chef's kiss. Like
Right.
nuts. But yeah, so this next question is from Aton from New York. Um, who is your favorite teammate ever?
That's difficult.
I love asking these questions too because it's just like, you got to pick one.
That's not difficult. I can't go with anyone from my high school team. I didn't like them. I
Fair.
really didn't. Like no offense to any of those guys. I didn't
Just
like them.
rock with
I
them.
didn't. So I got like I'm gonna go if I go college, like I I can only say two. And it's biased, but like he's my boy, so I gotta go Rye. But if it's based off like watching play and understanding, I gotta go Gabe. Gabe is that man. He's him. And people who don't know Gabe doesn't do anything. He moves in slow motion. Like if you're watching him from the sideline, he moves in slow motion, and all of a sudden you're cutting and you're not even looking for the ball. He already knows you're gonna cut. So just like based on the IQ and how he plays the game, I gotta go Gabe. But in terms of like having fun on the court, off the court, I gotta go Rye.
I'm actually glad you bring up Ryan because Ryan Terrell actually submitted a question and he asked, why you look like that?
Right. You know the answer to this question because you ask me every day. You can go ask Mama and Papa Reef if you have an issue with the way I look. Go talk to them.
Jeez.
Just like the same way I asked Brad and Laurel why you look like that.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Nah, and it's also funny because like Levi from Hawaii actually submitted a question. He asked if you and Ryan were to play one on one, how many
Okay.
points would you score and how would
That's
it go?
that's honestly a good question. I'll tell you, we used to play our 3 years at Yeshiva, but I think it was like we never took it seriously. I think there was one time we actually took it seriously, and it wasn't a one-on-one. It was a king of the court three dribbles. I don't think we've really played a 1v1. Um, and I don't think we can because we're both just like whenever we're together, we're not serious. But I mean, I'd probably say like 11-6 his way because he just bullied me in the paint. Like he would just go in the paint.
That's he has that height over you. It's fair.
Yeah, he wouldn't do anything else. Like we all know he can shoot, so I'm gonna have to press up on him. And then like if he beats me with his first step and I get there to cut him off, he's just gonna back me down.
Yeah, no, that adds up. Yeah, so actually, Levi from Hawaii actually submitted another question. He's curious, what does the future have to hold for your career? Like what's next? Like what's the goal?
I have no clue. To be completely honest, I'm just rocking with it as I go. Um, you know, I I've told myself that I'm just gonna keep going with it until my body tells me otherwise. Whether that's 2 years from now, a month from, I don't know when this whole thing is gonna be over and when my body's going to, not be able to take the pressure of, the amount of effort and the amount of stress I'm putting on it. But until then, I'm just going along with it. I mean, obviously the goal is to play a year in the Premier League here, and get minutes and not sit on the bench. I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to sit on the bench. Like I want to play, and you know, a lot of people say, yeah, but you're a professional, you're getting paid to do this. I understand that. I'm not sitting here complaining that I'm getting paid to sit on a bench. I'm not doing that. Like, I'd rather get paid less to actually play because at the end of the day, the money doesn't matter. I do it because I love it. I do it because I enjoy it. And afterwards, after basketball, that's yet to be decided.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when it comes to like playing professional ball, like that whole like hoop dream, no one dreams about getting paid to sit on the bench. Everyone dreams like, like I want to play. So
Right. And that's the biggest, I'll tell you, that's the biggest thing. And I think it's something that a lot of these, younger hoopers and the younger generation are going to have a problem dealing with, if they get it to this level. Um, I was lucky enough to have a coach last year who, put a lot of trust in me and, made me one of the guys. Like I was one of the guys. We had three guys on the team last year and I was one of them. I could have been put in a situation where I had coaches from opposing teams screaming. And that's another thing that's different. Coaches in the United States, oh, it's okay, this and oh, no, you're not getting that kind of treatment here. You're getting cussed at, you're getting things thrown at you, you're getting coaches are kicking the scores table. It's not like the United States in that sense. But like I said, I was lucky enough to have a coach who actually believed in me and gave me the confidence to do what I needed to do last year. Um, but and I've told people this, if in a year from now or 2 years from now, I'm in an unfortunate situation with a team or a coach and I have to sit on the bench, well, I can't do anything about it. At this level, you can't go complain to, management or your coach and say, look, like I need to be playing. No, you're getting paid to shut up, sit on the bench, and clap. Like that is your job. That is what you are getting paid to do. You are getting paid to sit, clap, cheer the guys on the court. And then in practice is to make like your job is to make those guys who play better. And if you do well in practice, you'll get an opportunity. But if that's the situation, that's the situation.
is there like I don't know if you know about the whole like NBPA, like with the NBA and all that stuff. Is there something like that in Israel, like hoops? Like, is there a players association or
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Not in the small, maybe in the first league, but it's also ran like basketball here is not remotely close to anything in the United States from, professional to youth, right? You have one organization who runs everything. So, let's say I get thrown out of, 3, 4 games. I go to court, right? So I go sit in front of, the judges of the organization and they tell me you did this, you did that, they'll have the video and they'll show me what I did. And then from there it's a consensus of what do we do, right? And then it's the same thing, right? Um if you have an issue with a ref, he's like the ref. I don't know. I honestly can't think of any situation, but if the coach or the ref or someone from the team does something, you go to the organization and you complain, and then you file a report, and then it gets done that way. So it's not you don't have
like the whole
rec leagues,
thing?
you don't have you don't have rec leagues, you don't have AAU, you don't have this, you don't have that. So it's ran under one organization.
Word. That look like it's a whole like big thing if you want to like
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, have you ever had to actually do that? Like show up in court or like, nah?
I haven't. I mean, there's stories. I mean, even from last year, some guy he didn't play for us, but this dude in a practice game started like he chased like he cussed the ref out and then waited for the ref after the game, and then you know the ref came out, they had police come, and then the guy started chasing him around in the car around the city. It was like a whole big thing.
Dang.
And then he got suspended for the first half of the season, got signed to the team who won the league. It's just I don't know how they allowed him to play, but
No, that's crazy. Waiting for the ref
uh,
after the game is nuts.
oh yeah, he waited for him at the door.
That's a straight up violent activity.
Yeah, no, that's not.
Yeah. So yeah, given your stature as a pro basketball player, um, the way the show works is I always ask the first question, I always ask the last question, right? So if you had to give the people watching one piece of advice, what would you say?
I'm a put it together. Firstly, I would say be yourself, right? Don't don't change the way you play. And if I'm a systematic player, so I work very well within the system and I don't change that. I don't go out of it. So don't change yourself to try to adapt to a difficult situation. Let it just be resolved over time and try to figure out how to adapt to that situation. And then, obviously it's very cliche, and it's really all about work, right? You want to get to a professional level. You can have all the talent in the world. It's not at this level, it doesn't really matter. You got to have IQ, you got to have the talent. You got to know what you're doing. So I'd say just work on the little things that you're not sure of. If you don't have a left hand, if you're not a good passer, if you're not a good shooter, if you're not this, you're not that, just work on it, because at the end of the day, every team needs a certain type of player, and whether it's a shooter, a slasher, a defender, this and that, take pride in what you do, and don't let anyone take it away from you, because the biggest thing in professional basketball is being a defender, because everyone can play defense. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it. So if you're that one guy who wants to play defense 94 and make it tough for everyone, you're going to have a spot on a team, on any team you want. And I mean that's really all I got to say is just, don't let a tough situation define you, and just work.
Yeah, and listen, Kevin Durant said it best, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
Exactly.
It's a good philosophy to have. Ofek, I want to thank you so much again for coming on the show. I really appreciate you. And to the people watching at home, if you like this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be up to date on what's going on with the show, who's coming on next, all that stuff, make sure to follow the socials. Um, Being that this is a season finale, there's not going to be content for a little bit, but there's still going to be a bunch of giveaways going on. And speaking of giveaways, I want to give a quick shout out to Nate Sadai and Moshe Levine for winning the Labor Day giveaway. Congrats to you guys. I'm going to be reaching out to y'all soon. And yeah, once again, thank you guys for watching. This has been season 1 of the You Ask Me podcast. My name is Ed Toronto. This is Ofek Reef, and I'll see you guys again soon.
Yeah.